This is Rob Temple for Boxing Social. Delighted to be joined. We're here in Saudi Arabia. Feels a bit strange to introduce an interview like that, but I'm with Eddie Hearn. Eddie, it's a some event.
I know. This is incredible. I was thinking, Rob, some people, you have to open your mind, right? And the last few days I've been thinking to myself, I've been looking at the venue, been looking at the images coming back, I've been looking at even the artwork of two guys on the dunes with the belts in the sand. I was thinking, this is the bollocks. And I was thinking, this is a pretty big moment for the sport, for Matchroom, for me, of course for AJ and the guys. We've been lucky enough to do 90,000 at Wembley, 80,000 in Wales, O2, Manchester Arena, Bramall Lane, Old Trafford, Millwall, White Hart Lane, now Rome and Florence and Barcelona coming up. But this is something that may never ever be repeated. I really feel that this is an event that people will remember forever, not just from this region, but just in the history of the sport, like they did with the Thriller in Manila, like they did with the Rumble in the Jungle. And you have to have that vision to just put your bollocks on the line and go, do you know what? No, we're going to do it. We know it comes with criticism, but if we listen to the naysayers or the negative people, how many times would you change your mind? No one knows better than you about your business or me about my business. You've got to trust your instincts, you've got to go with it, and every now and again you've got to do something that's probably going to upset a few people. But I really feel like this is a big moment for the sport.
Biggest fight involving a Brit since when?
Tyson. I mean, what was that, 2002, 2001? Yeah, so I'd like to say this is the biggest fight of the century. But, it's massive, You see a lot of promoters, I saw Bob Arum's piece, he was like, this guy, doesn't he realise there's a college game on in America at that time? It's like, fucking hell, mate. There is a country outside of America. You know that, don't you? And that's what we've all got to understand. This sport is global. So we have to make sure that we give people the opportunity to grow the sports in their region as well. If someone wants to invest in the sport of boxing, great news for the fighters. And this is just the beginning for Saudi Arabia.
Seems like since the announcement of the fight, you'll know, we've done countless interviews since, a lot has been spoken about other than the fight, but I think now we're here, it's starting to dawn on people, certainly it'll dawn on me, what a fascinating main event we've got here on Saturday night. Just seen Andy Ruiz, didn't look the 16 stone man that we were promised, but what did you make of him? I
don't know. One thing you will see is Anthony Joshua looks very lean, and I think you may get a bit of a surprise from him on the scales. Ruiz, I said before, we sent a guy to interview Ruiz a few weeks ago, and he was like, I'm hoping to come in £3 lighter. I'm like, £3? Is that it? That's a pony. Sorry. But I think that, again, I've said in the build-up, I really don't think this fight is necessarily about Andy Ruiz, not in terms of the commercial aspect, but just this is AJ's fight to win. I think if he can put the game plan together, if he can box right, he should win this fight. But if he doesn't, Ruiz is going to be Ruiz. Really talented fighter, fast hands, good engine, good movement. But what is he going to do that's different? I don't think he's going to do anything. AJ is the one who's got to do something different, because if he doesn't do something different, he'll get beat again. So I've never really looked at Ruiz and thought, half a stone heavier, half a stone lighter. Just that Ruiz is Ruiz, very good fighter, going to be very dangerous in this fight. But AJ is the guy that's got to go out there and win this fight.
AJ is very lean, obviously he's leaner due to kind of what had happened initially. He's obviously changed a few things. Is there a concern or is there a worry of him maybe moving away from what kind of got him to where he was? He's made his reputation as a knockout artist.
Maybe. I said that in the build-up about Andy Ruiz, and I guess you'd have to say it about Joshua, in that you don't want to change too much, but the difference is Joshua lost. So maybe you do have to change something, whereas Andy Ruiz didn't lose. So he shouldn't really be losing this weight, in my opinion. He should be doing what gave him that success. I do believe Joshua will be punching harder and sharper, a little bit leaner, and we've seen that in sparring. I think sometimes you can become too bulked up and heavy that you don't quite have the fluidity that he had in the early stage of his career when he was potentially doing more damage. He hasn't been on the scales, he hasn't been dieting, he's just not really been doing as much strength work and concentrating more on his boxing. And it feels great, he really does feel great, and he couldn't have done any more, honestly. And that's a great thing, I think, for an athlete to know, is that when you stand on that start line or the base line, or you enter the ring, you know that you've done everything you can, and you shouldn't really doubt yourself, and just believe in your preparation and go and do the business.
monumental shock back in New York. Will you be as shocked if Ruiz repeats the win this time?
No, because obviously he's done it before. So I think it's a position where he'll believe in himself. And we knew going into the fight that it was going to be a tough fight. But everyone was telling me and telling AJ it was a joke fight, like this guy's got no chance, look at the state of him. And maybe AJ did take him a little bit lightly in that respect, because that's what he was being told. He ain't taking him lightly this time, but it's just a thrilling fight where literally anything can happen. Any outcome of this fight is possible. And there's such a great narrative, there's so many unanswered questions, that's what makes it so big. And I'm absolutely shitting myself, to be honest with you. I'm so nervous, I'm so excited. And honestly, the only reason for that is I want AJ to win so bad. I know what it means to him. I know how much he wants to win. And I'd be devastated for him if he didn't win. And if he does win, I thought about it a million times when we all go in there and and he goes back to the UK and there's just this monumental support for this guy that's continuously put himself in difficult positions in fights that maybe he shouldn't put himself in, but has always tried to test himself, always tried to give himself great fights, give the public great fights, and that's why I really feel like the public should be supporting him.
We're going to, just final question, because there's a lot of people here waiting for you. We'll catch up with you on the rest of the card throughout the week. Deontay Wilder, we saw him in action a couple of weeks ago. We saw him in action a week before the first fight when he scored a savage knockout of Dominic Brazil, repeated the trick against Luis Ortiz. Having said that, does the winner of this fight, in your opinion, become the number one heavyweight in the world?
I believe so. Because I believe AJ was the number one heavyweight in the world before he lost to Ruiz. And if he beats him, he will be the number one heavyweight again. But honestly, we respect Wilder, we respect Fury, but it's not about them right now. This is about this monumental fight on Saturday, and all it is about AJ trying to beat Andy Ruiz and winning those belts back and becoming a two-time heavyweight champion of the world.
Last pound coin, who would you put it on?
AJ, all day, every day. I would. But I believe it's a 50-50 fight. I think the odds are wide. AJ's a strong favourite. For me, I believe AJ's a favourite, but he's got to be the one that changes. Ruiz has got to try and do what he did last time. AJ's got to make the changes and deliver on the game plan, and I believe he'll do it.
Yeah, thanks very much for speaking to Boxing Social.
Cheers, mate.